So we started our out-of-state home search. We were moving from Virginia, moving somewhere into the Alabama, south of Nashville, Tennessee area. And we had a pretty wide range of about a 200, 250 mile area that we were looking at. And my wife and I were trying to do most of it remotely. And we zeroed in on an area in the Birmingham, Hoover area called Greystone. And from that point, when we found a few homes that we were very interested in, there was one particular one that caught our eye because of the aesthetic of the home, what appeared to be the quality of the workmanship and craftsmanship in there, the attention to detail. And we reached out to some realtors, and I ended up asking Elizabeth if she wanted to fly down and see that home as well as a few other homes. And one weekend, and that's what we ended up doing. So Elizabeth came down and went on a quick 24-hour tour and saw a bunch of homes with our young daughter, and this was one of those homes. So I'll let you kind of take it from there.
This was the pinnacle of all the homes that we were looking at. It was actually the first house that I saw in Birmingham online when I was looking. Definitely a higher price point than Darren wanted to spend for the family, but when I saw this house, I couldn't discern, was some of it AI generated or was it really that perfect? So when we planned for myself and my daughter to fly down, I was like, I've got to see this home. It's so beautiful. And when I walked in those doors, the solidity of the house, the way that it felt, the way that it wasn't cavernous, but it wasn't small by any means. It was large, the trim, the timeless aesthetic that he put into it. I felt like he did a really nice job of balancing modern, new techniques, whether it was tiling in the bathroom or the banisters, but then also complementing it with extremely timeless aesthetics and just things that will not go out of style. So the house felt very current, but not faddish in any way. It was basically a done deal when I was walking through this home that nothing else was gonna compare to this house for me.
She flew back. We continued our home search initially. I was in the mindset of I wanted to pay cash for a house, so I wanted to be a little bit less than what this one was. And I didn't want to have a mortgage at all, and so she had to convince me that, well, maybe we should do a little one, you know. And I kept looking at the house online. The house went off the market. We looked at some other homes. I came down to the area, also toured some homes separate from you a few weeks later. And about another month or so went by, and this house was no longer on the market. Jason had actually decided to move into the house himself, and he was going to live here and
change some things around.
Potentially add a pool and a pool house in the backyard, right? And then relist it like a year later or 2 years later. And once I realized that every other house fell short from this home, I reached out to the same realtors that we initially reached out to get Elizabeth set up to see the home, and I asked if we could put a bid on off market. They immediately reached out to the seller's agent, to Jason's agent, and the dialogue opened. Jason, through his agents, was an absolute pleasure to deal with. And long story short, after a couple days, we came to terms and conditions. Offer was accepted, and everything went very, very smoothly from that point on. We had a ratified contract. I had never seen the house. I came down a few weeks later, after the ratified contract, but prior to closing, toured the house for the first time myself and was just absolutely amazed by it as well. To Elizabeth's point, she covered most of the points, but what I also felt that he did amazingly well is adding in new features to the home that allowed you to really capture the landscape, the views, not working with traditional materials, but doing things like glass decking as an example, so that you don't have anything obstructing your views from a railing perspective, and really doing an amazing job using natural materials throughout the house and on the outside of the home as well to really bring the best of the home and the surrounding area to bear. And it really has become one of the pinnacle homes that everyone looked at in the area as it went through the market and through the sale. And it's one that has been, featured in videos online. It's been featured
Yeah,
as
one
one
thing
of the.
that I completely glossed over were the chandeliers.
Oh yeah.
So when you were talking about neighbors and just people in Birmingham knowing this house now, the thing I hear the most about is how they drive by and they can see especially that foyer chandelier and
That's
just
right.
how grand it is. And that's in addition to the bathrooms, in addition to the trim, in addition to, the inlays in the floors of everything that he thought of. The lighting in this house is, it made me better understand what lighting can do for a room, for a space.
Absolutely.
And he nails that.
Yeah. We moved in. He, of course, had the house ready, move-in ready. He stood ready and willing to fix anything that needed to be fixed, even post-sale, which is very unusual when you're buying, a remodeled home or a flipped home. Normally, it's not a brand new home, so it doesn't come with a warranty. But with Jason, when you buy a home, you're buying his brand as well. You're buying a piece of him that he stands by. And that's been the wonderful piece of it. We've now lived here about 3 months. There's been a couple minor things that needed to be fixed. He would have people here usually within, sometimes same day, sometimes within 24 hours, he'd have people here addressing whatever it was that needed to be addressed. There was never a discussion of, is there a cost or anything? It just was taken care of. And it also gave you peace of mind just to know that everything was done, and that when you're buying something from Jason Thomas, you're buying his brand, you're buying his name behind it.